The Knicks fan base is miserable.
No, they're not. Why? Because they lost like 7 of 10 a couple months ago.
Because
Unacceptable.
they have
And
this
Cat is soft. Come on.
they have a history of being really bad.
They were in the East Finals last year. This is just a feather in the cap of hatred for New York sports fans.
Sports and culture all in one. Catch the fire, feel the fun. Andrew, Sistad, Brad unite. Philly and Y in the spotlight.
Hey everyone, welcome to episode 97. We are ranking the most miserable fan bases in New York and Philadelphia. A concept that, dude, Sistad, you know so well. Misery. You love misery. I was about to say misery loves company, but I'm not really with you on this, on the whole miserable fan base.
Yeah, you got the right guy for the job on this one. So I will walk you through it.
So typically when we do a lot of these New York and Philly rankings, we come to the pod with a list, with the ranking, and then we either debate, agree, converse. Here we're just live on the pod, gonna formulate this ranking, this list for all of you to see it happen. So we're gonna go through each sport, and then we're gonna rank based on each sport, and then we're gonna do an overall top 5 miserable fan bases at the very end. So first, let's define misery. Let's define what a miserable fan base is, because I don't think it's a very clear, this is what a miserable fan base is. There could be many aspects of this. So when you think of a miserable fan base, what's the criteria that you think of?
Yeah, so it's interesting. So it's important to really define what you mean by miserable, because I think, like, I'm wearing a Sixers hat. So let's just go with them as an example. Like, I wouldn't say that the 76ers fan is miserable. I would say they're very frustrated, and there are very annoying things about the way that the team has been built and the way that they've been ran over the past few years. But I wouldn't say they're miserable, because they still have a relatively good team. They do give you some hope in the postseason, even if it's not much, or if it's false. But so again, I would classify them as more frustrated, not miserable. Miserable to me is like, you are awful. You've been awful for a long time. Your front office has no idea what it's doing. The future does not really seem very bright. What else? I'm trying to do this in a generic way.
Yeah, do it. Yeah, let's not name the team the fan base that everyone's thinking of when you're going through this right now. So we can save it. So here's what I think. I think here's a criteria that I just jotted down some stuff. I think it's a combination. There's different levels of all this, and then the fan base that hits on all the criteria is obviously the most miserable fan base, which everyone probably knows what we're alluding to. We're not going to say it. So I think, like, long term, like you said, like a long history of being bad, really bad, recent history of being bad, a current outlook that's not good, a front office dysfunction, ownership dysfunction. What else could there be? I think some of it is like expectations not being met. It could be like big off-season transactions, big star players come in and then failed to meet that hope, that optimism. And then so like you get just consistent pessimism from a fan base. I think that's a big part of it. And then I think also, so I think we'll hit on it. I think sometimes it's there's a consistency of being good, but not good enough, and failing to get to the championship goal. And I think that when you have raised expectations and you keep failing to get past that next level, that next step, that leads to a fan base that's very upset. So I think it's a different level of like a fan base that's just putrid and pathetic for 20 plus years, but that's a different level, but it's not as miserable, but it's a miserable fan base.
Okay.
Okay. Let's start with the NFL. So again, we'll go through the three teams, New York and Philadelphia, and then we'll rank in each sport. So here in the NFL, we'll go through it, and then we'll rank the most miserable in the NFL, and then we'll move on to the NBA and so on and so forth. So the three NFL teams, the Philadelphia Eagles, the New York Giants, and the New York Jets. You want to start with the Eagles? What do you think? I think we know the answer to this one.
Yeah, I think any Eagles fan who's miserable is
crazy.
a moron. Yeah, like you're crazy. You must be new here. I lived through some really miserable, frustrating years, and I've said many times on this podcast that although this past year was very frustrating at times, especially the way that it ended, like it or not, we are living in the golden age of Philadelphia Eagles football, and they win all the time. They've won 2 Super Bowls over the past 8 years. They've been to another one. They've made the playoffs like every year but one.
They just won 2 straight divisions.
Right. They're great. They're very well run. They got a great front office, great owner, great general manager. Still have a lot of talent on the roster. You know, a few question marks within the coaching staff, but recent success, can't really ask for anything better. What more can you say? They're great. They will not.
They are not. The Eagles fan base is not miserable. They're a happy fan base. Not probably this. If we had this time last year, the level of happiness would be euphoric. It'd be a euphoric fan base, but now they're just a very happy fan base.
Very happy fan base. I think if we took all, what are there, 12, 15 teams on the list, they should be at the bottom in terms of miserable fan bases.
Least miserable. Yep, I agree.
Least miserable. Yes.
Yes. We're agreement. Okay, we're on agreement. Okay. Giants next?
Sure. So what do you think?
This one's tough.
So this one's tough. I think that they look. If there was any, if the third team on this list was any other team that was not the New York Jets, literally any other team, they would win this category for sure. I mean, they've been so well. Actually, hold on. Here's the thing. So I think I'm looking at it through the prism of someone who is around our age, right? So if you're around our age, you've still witnessed 2 Super Bowl championships in your lifetime.
Exhilarating Super Bowl runs,
yes,
too.
Including
not just
one of like the greatest like upsets and stories like in sports history.
Yes.
So you can always hang your hat on that, and then you have, you know, not quite as good, but a very exciting second Super Bowl. And then then you've been horrible for 15 years now since then.
But let me just say one thing to that. Even though that's true, they still had a like iconic, legendary franchise player for a bunch of those years, Eli.
Sure.
Even through like the start of the bad years. Anyway, keep going.
Sure. Yeah. So then they were really bad for many, many years, and so it's funny you said if we were doing this at the end of last year, at the end of last year, they might be number 1 on this entire list, but they certainly have. I mean, they shouldn't be miserable anymore. They have the pieces. They lost a ton of games this year, but they were in all of those games. They were a very competitive team. You know, the NFL usually it kind of flips, right? If you lose a bunch of 1-score games the year before, you're probably going to win some of those the next year. They got a really good coach, an actual coach in Harbaugh. Yeah, they got a good roster. They got a couple of holes to fill, but as we've said, like they're gettable pieces. And I don't think they should be miserable right now. I think that they should feel like very excited and optimism. Yeah, it's been an awful like decade and a half for them, and I've loved like every second of it. It's been great. But yeah, I mean they have legitimate reason for optimism. Good for them.
I think the fan base should be miserable. Not as miserable as the one team we're going to do next, but they've been so bad for so long. Just because you have a coach and an exciting quarterback doesn't like until that they actually see good performance and consistent success. I think they're going to be I think they should be miserable.
I think they should be. So I disagree. I think like they have optimism. Like they have hope for the first time in a long time. So
I agree with that.
Down and upset about the last decade and a half, but if you're miserable right now, like I get it. You want to see what what this all translates to on the field, and you want results. But like right now, you should not be miserable if you're a Giants fan. You should be very excited and hopeful and optimistic, and like I think they're going to be very good this year. So
the Giants won their last Super Bowl in what, 2012?
It was the 2011 season, but yes, February 2012.
So it's been 14, 15 years, something like that, or 15 years,
yes.
Right? Something like that, 14 years, whatever. Okay, so if I'm going through this criteria that I talked about in the intro, the championship drought, not crazy long, but
for New York,
this is New York. The expectations, yeah. The recent the recent performance over the last few years has been just absolutely dreadful. They've been a bottom 3 team in the NFL. The false hope cycles, I think there's been a cycle of because they had that one year with Daniel Jones, they made the playoffs and they gave him the extension, and that was all. And then they went back to being dreadful. Right, they had one good year, and they thought Brian Daboll, great rookie season as a head coach. He's the coach of the future, and then it's just a letdown. So, in terms of historic, they've had a lot of success historically as a franchise. So I think that's a plus. And then the current outlook, as of right now, I think the outlook is pretty optimistic. So I think when I put it together, I would definitely, I understand what you're saying. I definitely don't think it's like extremely miserable, but I think the amount of just patheticness that they've had as an organization the last 15, 14 years, I think it's somewhat miserable of a fan base. At least it should be.
I think it should be. Okay. I think that's fine. I just think again, if we did this last year, yes, 100%. But now the future's really bright, so they should not. I just don't think that they should be miserable. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the next team, the next fan base, the New York Jets. My team. We're not miserable. We're ecstatic. We love the organization. Everything about the Jets is perfect. Woody Johnson is. If I want Woody Johnson to buy all the other teams that I root for. He's a great owner. The Jets are just so fundamentally, the organizationally, the structure, they're so sound. It's so great. They've had so much success, and the outlook of the near future is just. I'm just so excited. They just look so good. Can anyone beat the Jets going forward?
I don't think so. But you mean in terms of misery rankings or in terms of on-field performance?
I mean, they're probably going to win the Super Bowl next year.
Yeah. So I think if you took every team in every sport and did these misery rankings
in every city,
yes, like
they'd be one.
All 30. I mean, can you think of another one that would be more miserable than the Jets? I mean, they've been so bad for so long
with a terrible outlook right now.
With a terrible outlook, they have no good players.
Terrible ownership.
Questionable head coach.
Who fell asleep in the
nothing. No, like just no foundation to even like be able to pull anything from. So
They share a
like,
stadium with the more popular team in the same city. They, they their ownership is terrible. Their front office is terrible. They've gone through like all these like exciting like anticipation off seasons. They win the off seasons. They bring in Aaron Rodgers, and they're just to be every single time let down. They draft Zach Wilson, sucks. They get Aaron Rodgers, sucks. Everything. And then they have these good players, Sauce Gardner, and then they trade them, which for picks. And now it's like, what are the picks? They're going to draft someone, and they're going to be terrible. They have made me, who's not a negative sports fan at all, just feel completely defeated and hopeless with this team. So it doesn't get much worse than this. They hit every single criteria here. It's so bad. To answer your question, is there another fan base in all of sports that's more miserable right now than the Jets fan base? I think I'd have to think about it. Nothing
off the top of your head, no way. Like no shot.
No.
Yeah. I mean, maybe like the Cardinal, like I don't know, dude. Maybe the Chicago White Sox or the Pittsburgh Pirates might be a good one, although they have,
at least the Pirates this offseason spent money. They added to their team. They have Paul Skeens. Like, I don't even know like if a Jet fan right now can even feel close to as good as a Pirate fan feels.
Yeah. I'm just thinking crazy. Of historically bad.
Historically, yes.
Teams,
It's
but
tough.
Yeah. I think that I really feel for Jets fans. I've said many times that like I have so much respect for Jets fans because it must just be such an awful existence. Like you never get to experience like the joy of a fun football season. Like you have no idea, not that you experience football the same way that I do, but you have no idea what it's like to experience football like the way that I do. And that's sad because like some of the greatest joys of my life, like as lame as or corny as that sounds, have been like watching super important Eagles games, like with my friends and my family and my brother. And like, it's, I have a lot of really special memories that like I cherish, like,
dude,
because of the Eagles. And you have none of that.
None of that. Here's the thing.
And football is like the best sport to watch and to root for your team. Like I love the other sports, but there's just something about the intensity and the drama of watching a football game unfold that is really special. And I mean, yeah, they're so bad. And if you are a fan of the Jets, like I tip my hat to you because like that it's like a chore. It's got to be like a chore to root for that team. And just the epitome, like you said, the Aaron Rodgers thing, like it's the epitome of the experience of a Jets fan. Like I was actually watching that game and I still I just can't believe what happened. That stadium was so electric. Monday Night Football against their rival in the Bills. Aaron Rodgers comes out. Didn't he complete like a nice pass like the play before, or no? Am I misremembering?
It was a Breece Hall run.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then bang. And then his career is over, essentially.
So, and it continued into this year because now, of course, they have the number 2 pick in a year where there's like one clear number 1 quarterback, and then after that, there's no one that's people are high on. So of course they have the number 2 pick.
Yeah.
Can't get Mendoza.
Well, even that. So even that though, like, it wasn't just like, hey, we got a quarterback. It's hey, like our defense is so good. Our skill positions are so good. All we need is a quarterback. That is it.
Average quarterback play.
That is all we need. And then you get like one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Was coming off of a good season the season before. or no, I think he was hurt a lot, but 2 years before he was coming off a really good season. The
2
year
years
before, I
before that, he
think
won the MVP. Yeah.
yeah, and then the year, I think he had some injuries the next year, but still, you got the guy, and he could not escape being a New York Jet.
The and years earlier, they got the last Packers legendary quarterback
Yeah,
to come to their
yeah.
team.
Who could forget? Yeah.
They were 8-3, and then they completely collapsed.
Yes.
It's just so, and then there's so many of like those moments that just like those moments that everybody LOL Jets, like the whole like let's laugh at the Jets, like the butt
The
fumble.
butt fumble. Yep.
It just never really ends. Like Eric Mangini got like a tattoo of Brett Favre or something ridiculous. I don't remember the exact story with that, but dude, I graduated high school in 2010. That's the last year the Jets made the playoffs. I mean, think about that as like a college years, an adult, a young adult. I have never experienced the Jets in the playoffs. It's crazy. Not even like winning a round, just making the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So 2010. So that was Mark Sanchez, right?
Yep.
AFC Championship game. Yeah.
Rex Ryan. Yep. So that was it. All right. So let's rank these. Obviously, the Jets here in the NFL, Jets most miserable, Giants is second most miserable, and Eagles third, and that's not even close, right? That's a clear 1, 2, 3.
Yes. Yep. That's an easy one.
All right. Let's do NBA.
Okay.
You want to start with the Sixers?
Okay. Sure.
You kind of mentioned it before, but you don't think the fan base is miserable.
So I think frustrated is a better word for them. But compared to the other two, they still might win this misery ranking for these particular teams. But yeah, I mean they've had now you're gonna bring the misery out of me. So they have not made it past the second round of the playoffs since 2001. I was 11 years old.
That's a long time.
Yep. And they have not won a championship since 1983. So going over 40 years. Very long time. So in between 2001 and 2014, right, when they draft Embiid, they are just perennial mediocre, right? They're like hovering around 500 every year. Maybe they make the 7 or the 8 seed. They get bounced in the first round. Rinse and repeat. They actually did make it to in 2008 or 9 against the Celtics Big Three. They made it to a Game 7 of round 2, and they lost in Boston. But anyway, yeah. So no relevance. Then they go through the process, obviously, which everyone, people have their own feelings about it. There's been so many weird things that the Sixers have gone through since drafting Joel Embiid that I'm sure a lot of people just don't remember. And it's just weird. And like the only thing that has kept them afloat all these years has been Joel Embiid. But yeah, the whole experience from 2001, lately there's been some good years, right? They've had a good team for a while. They were the number 1 seed a few years ago, the year after the bubble. And yeah, they've had some like talented guys come through, right? They've had Joel Embiid, they've had Jimmy Butler, they've had James Harden, they've got Tyrese Maxey, they've got Edgecombe. So they've had some guys. Just like watching them. I mean, if this was a watching your team in the playoffs misery rankings, then the Sixers might be number 1. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting because again, they've had all these weird, crazy stories. Ben Simmons just refusing to become better at basketball. Markelle Fultz, number 1 pick, forgetting how to shoot a basketball. They had another number one pick, not number one, but first round pick that they had high hopes for. Do you know who Zaire Smith is?
Yeah, I remember.
You do?
Yeah. I thought you were going to say something else, but I do remember Zaire Smith, yeah.
Yeah, so did you know that the 76ers drafted Mikal Bridges in 2018 and they traded him
Yep.
on draft night for Zaire Smith, who had some sort of allergic reaction his rookie year and he like almost died.
Yep.
Literally almost died. He like lost
Yep.
40 pounds and like never
Yep.
stepped on a basketball court ever again. Yeah, just a lot of weird, crazy stuff like that seemingly doesn't happen to any other fan base. So, right now, and where does it stand today? So now they have two very exciting young guards. They have two aging stars who are on very expensive contracts. But right now, in terms of being miserable, I don't think Sixers fans are as miserable just because they have Maxey and Edgecombe. If they did not have Maxey or Edgecombe, then they would be very miserable. They'd be like competing with the Jets. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know that it's fair to say that they're miserable. I just think that they are extremely, extremely frustrated. And we feel like we've been spinning our wheels for the past 25 years. And just can't really ever seem to get out of our own way. That being said, still a good team, still some really good players. Yeah, that's really it. Now, are they more miserable than the Brooklyn Nets fan base?
Yeah,
I don't
think that's
know.
the question here. No,
Yeah,
I don't
know.
even know. Do you know Nets fans? How many Nets fans do you know?
I know a few. I haven't, none that I really talk to that often.
Yeah.
But a couple guys that we used to work with were Nets fans. But
I don't know any Nets fans. Like I have one close friend who was a Nets fan for a long time, and then I don't know, stopped. I don't know. Claims that it's because they moved to Brooklyn. I don't think that's what it really is, but I don't know
Jason
Nets
Kidd
fans.
left. That's why.
Yeah, maybe. I don't really know Nets fans, so it's hard for me to really. And I don't, because I'm not on social media. I'm not looking at all this stuff, so I'm not interacting with Nets fans. Unlimited stuff I see on like Twitter, limited stuff I see on like here on Sports Talk Radio. There's almost nothing about the Nets. I would imagine that a Nets fan, because they're kind of neglected, that the Nets are neglected, that when they're bad, like you actually become more miserable because like you just feel like you're just watching a team. They're actually, wait a second. I'm sorry. I have one close friend who's a Nets fan. I don't know why I said that. You actually know him. He used to work with him at Pella. Yeah. Stu.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I forgot he was a Nets fan for a second. Yeah, he's a Nets fan. He like
some friend you are, man. Wow.
Was a big New Jersey Nets fan. Yeah. I just think that you feel like you're on an island watching this terrible team. No one talks about them. You feel like you're the only fan that cares about them, and then you're just like you can't watch them because they're terrible. And then
here's like my counter to that though. So recent success, I think they've had more recent success than
they've
had
recent disappointment though. They've had such recent disappointment.
Sure. Yes.
More than the Sixers, because that offseason, that whole Kyrie, KD, and then eventually Harden, like that letdown is much worse of a letdown than the Sixers process Embiid letdown, I think.
I guess, but it was a very short window.
It makes it even worse, though, doesn't it? Doesn't that make it worse?
Like maybe.
Oh my God, we're going to win championships, and 2 years later they're all gone.
Maybe you're right, but they also don't have the, emotional baggage of being, a second round exit for, 8 years in a row and not getting out of the second round since 2001. So, and look, I mean, the fact that they got those free agents for for nothing essentially, that's
That's one of
exciting.
your complaints. That's one of your complaints that makes you more upset about a Sixers fan is that they don't attract like
Yeah,
they would have no chance of getting KD and
of
Kyrie to come there,
course.
right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah,
They only get
that
like a
is a
desperate
huge.
like Paul George who just went for whoever was the only team that was able to offer him the most money.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. I think it's a close race. I guess in terms of just miserable, like sitting today in the year 2026, like, yeah, I guess Nets fans are probably more miserable than Sixers fans, but
Their outlook's horrible. They don't have players to be excited for. Like they're clearly like I wouldn't even second fiddle is an understatement to the Knicks.
yeah.
Like people just laugh at them. I think the Nets probably fan base probably beats the Sixers out here. But again, I
Yeah.
only know one Nets fan. So
How many 76ers fans do you know?
wow.
One.
I think I know one other than you.
Yeah, but my misery and complaining and bitching to you it's like 100 Sixers fans, and they're always screaming at you and cursing at you, and
Well, the
it's like
thing
drinking
is
out of
that
a fire hose.
you, I know that if you're not very miserable, that most Sixers fans are also not very miserable.
Okay.
You are quick. Okay. When it comes to being super, super happy with a team, you're gonna be a little bit slower. You're gonna be a little bit more measured in that. Like most Sixers fans, if they're doing really well, they're gonna be sky high. Everything's amazing. You're gonna be more measured. You're gonna be a little bit hesitant to be super happy.
Yes.
But when it comes to the miserable, you're gonna be right there with the misery. You're gonna be right there.
That's where I shine, baby. Yeah.
Leading the charge.
Yeah.
So
Yep, that's right. I'll be like Aaron Rodgers coming out with the American flag. That'll be me leading the misery train.
The Knicks. The Knicks fan base. Okay, can we just? I know what you're going to say. You're going to instantly say they're not miserable. They're a championship contender. They have this franchise player in Brunson. Knicks fans are really happy, right?
No, they just won the cup. I mean, come on. That's recent success. They're the current reigning champions of the NBA.
The Knicks fan base is miserable.
No, they're not.
They are.
Why? Because they lost 7 of 10 a couple months ago.
Because
unacceptable.
They have
this. Is soft. Come on.
They have a history of being really bad. They have a extremely long championship drought. Do you know when they won their last championship?
It was like the 70s, right? 70 something.
1973.
Wow.
They have an extremely long history of being really bad. They have until recently an owner that people couldn't stand. Still, he says some nonsensical things. And James Dolan. They currently finally are a championship contender. Yet there's something that seems off. Like they're very inconsistent. They don't have fans feeling confident. They've lost to the Pistons. This is, I know. Look, we can. Me and you are gonna shake our heads and just wave off. Like, who cares that they lost to the Pistons by 30 points every game? We're gonna be like, who cares? It doesn't matter. And I that's how I view it.
Didn't they also lose to the Celtics every game last year?
Yes. And then they beat them in the playoffs.
Wow.
I agree, but we're not talking about logical. We're talking about fan bases being miserable.
My God.
They are miserable. They are pessimistic about this current team. The history of the fan base, the history of the organization is bad. The recent history has been bad up until 4 years ago. Knicks fans are very miserable. I don't know why you're so shocked by this.
They better not be, dude. They better not be.
They are. They are miserable. They're pessimistic. They're finally good, and they're just all pessimistic.
Well, I think you could be pessimistic without being miserable still. Like, I was pessimistic about the Eagles last year, right? But I wasn't miserable.
It's
still
this is
enjoying the success.
It's beyond it's beyond pessimistic. It's like pathetic. This is why their misery is why when they finally win a playoff game, they're dancing in the streets because they finally have something. They're so miserable that they finally have something to grab onto, a playoff win, and they celebrate like they won the championship. It's a miserable fan base. Even though they're really good right now and like they have a chance to go to the finals and they're finally a really good team. They have an amazing player to lead the way, but yeah, it's a miserable fan base. I'm emphatically saying that they are the most miserable of these 3 NBA fan bases.
Wow.
It's not even close.
Wow.
Dude,
if that's true,
they lose to the Pistons in a regular season game that doesn't matter, and everyone's crying. Like I'm listening to these podcasts, and they're saying it's time to write them off. They just don't have it. Yeah.
Stop.
And then and like my favorite Knicks podcast, they're talking at Knicks Film School. He's talking about how if he could redo the cat trade, he would. It's like what? It's a miserable fan base.
Whoa, dude, that's wrong, and that's stupid.
It's stupid. They're miserable. You're not saying what I'm saying is stupid. Yeah.
No, I'm saying it's stupid that they're miserable. Like,
of course
I get
it.
So, like, I get it. I get, like, being miserable because your team sucks, but your team doesn't suck.
But they've sucked for so long.
Right, but now they don't. So
that's the thing. Like, but you just can't erase in people's like emotions all that the Phil Jackson era, the Larry Brown era. You just can't get rid of that. I mean, they were winning 20 games, sub 20 games 4 years in a row. You just can't get rid of that stench that Knicks fans feel.
Well, I think you can
with a championship. With a championship.
No, I mean, come on.
Yes.
Come on.
They're miserable.
They were in the East Finals last year. They're going to be right back there again this year.
They were in the East Finals 2 years in a row. No, they weren't. That's not true.
Yeah, no, they weren't. I was gonna say no. Yeah, they're gonna be right back there this year. They're gonna have a round. They're gonna have a bye, a first round bye essentially, because they get to play Philadelphia round 1. So,
what if they play the Pistons in round 2? You think they're gonna win?
I don't know. That'd be a very exciting series.
I can tell you most Knicks fans think they're going to lose.
I don't know. I think that's
all right.
I honestly, I mean, I'm sure we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, but I would pick the Knicks in that series. If the Knicks met the Pistons, I would pick the Knicks in that series.
You're surprised by what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I'm so emphatic about.
Yeah, I mean, this is just like this plays into like the. I'm sorry, but if what you're telling me is true, and I'm going to assume that it is, then this is just a feather in the cap of like hatred for New York sports fans, because like I agree. You what do you like? These Neanderthals just think that the team should be. Winning championships.
You'll have multiple feathers in your cap by the end of this. So let's keep going.
Unbelievable.
You can rank this differently. Tell me what you rank it after me. I'm gonna say Knicks, Nets, Sixers in terms of misery in the NBA.
So you think the Sixers have the happiest fans out of these three teams?
Yes.
Wow. Well, you also don't have a finger on the pulse for the way any fan base feels. So, I guess
I do for the Knicks. I think more so than most right now, because I rarely talk to a lot of Knicks fans, and I listen to a Knicks podcast regularly. So, yeah, for the Knicks fans, I actually might have my finger on the pulse of how they're feeling more than almost any other fan base ever.
Okay.
But so give me your ranking.
My ranking would probably be Brooklyn, Philadelphia, New York.
But I may have convinced you otherwise, though.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, it's weird because, the thing that you said about like, so you can't go, here's my take. When Philadelphia So Philadelphia has been very bad in the, not great in the NBA for a long time. And there was a time where they went a very long time between winning a playoff series, right? And when they finally did in 2018, like no one was like dancing or anything like that. Like I
Of
think they
course
were
not.
still expecting something bad to happen. So like
Oh, I see what you're
you
saying.
can't be I'm so miserable. Oh my god, they're going to let me down. And then when they win, like you can't be flooding the streets puffing your chest out saying I knew we were going to win the whole time. Like that to me is just the ultimate juxtaposition of you are stupid.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I think it's this is pathetic.
You can't be both. You can't be I'm so miserable and now I'm running around with my shirt off because they won a series. You can't do that.
I think you can be.
Well, then you're
It's
not
just
miserable. If you're running
no,
around with your
no,
shirt off,
you're just pathetic. You're being pathetic. All right.
maybe.
MLB.
Oh my god,
All
you're
right.
gonna say this.
This one's no, dude. Get those feathers ready
No,
in your cap.
don't even say it.
Do you want to continue the pattern we've been doing, starting with the Philadelphia team, or do you want to start with the Mets or the Yankees?
Let's start with the Mets or the Yankees this time. I think there's
You
a
choose
clear
which-
winner for this one.
Which one do you? I think there's a clear winner also. Which one do you want to start with, the Mets or the Yankees?
All right, let's start with the Mets. I mean, they are the clear-cut number one of
Agreed.
most miserable in the MLB. Okay.
The Mets they had the long World Series drought, 1986.
Mhm.
They've had
Yep.
they've gone through different ownerships. People hated the Wilpons. Now there's been just constant letdown with Cohen. They've had these crazy like just disastrous ways to lose. The Adam Wainwright, Carlos Beltran curveball, the 7 game lead with 17 to go. They blew that last year. They had the best record in baseball halfway through the season. Don't make the playoffs, and that's after signing Juan Soto. The Mets fan base is miserable. They have been. They've just been through some of the worst stuff, the worst heartache you can have as a sports fan. They've had it all. They've had ownership. They've had organizational issues. They've had all this excitement to be let down, and they've just had year after year of just bad performances. And even though they've had some good years in there, and there's the current outlook is very positive. So I think that's one thing that makes it a little bit less miserable. Is currently Mets fans have hope, but historically it's been a bad franchise and they've been second fiddle to the Yankees. So yes, Mets, miserable fan base, most miserable out of these three teams in baseball.
Totally agree. The only thing that I would add to that is like they seemingly always win the off season. Like how many off seasons have they got the guy and they just fall flat on their face in almost like comical fashion every time. Like I can't remember all of them off the top of my head, but like, you remember what was it, 2022, and they had Verlander and Scherzer, and like here we go, they got Lindor, and it was and they lost in the wild card round. And I just feel like that's the track record for the Mets is they get the guy in free agency, right? They make all the right moves, they spend the money, and they just can never.
That's the current track record. Before that, with the Wilpons, it was they weren't spending like a big market team because of the Madoff situation. They were like a big market team spending like a mid market team, and then fans were so angry about that. So
yeah. So yes. I always say so much like, and it's interesting. So you don't fall into this category, but most people that I know who are Jets fans are also Mets fans. So as much just what I said about the Jets, like if you are not even that, but like if you are an actual fan of the Mets, I hate the Mets, but if you are I very much respect Mets fans, because if you can just live through that existence every summer where you constantly just get kicked in the gut like over and over again, and you still keep coming back for more, like I have a lot of respect for that.
All right, let's do the Phillies.
Okay. The Phillies, everything I said about the 76ers, you could say about the Phillies. They've had some, I don't know if you want to call it what.
Except they won a World Series in 2008. That's not that long ago.
Yeah, they won a World Series 2008. They went to 2 others since then. So,
they've had more playoff success.
They've definitely had a lot more playoff success. Yes. Yeah. So, I would say just frustrated and not. I would say frustrated and not super optimistic about the coming year here. But I don't think Phillies fans are miserable by any stretch of the imagination. It wasn't that long ago where they had an 11-year playoff drought where they were awful from 2011 to 2022. So
yep.
I think we're still kind of on the tail end of, hey, we appreciate having a good, fun baseball team to root for, and probably won't do anything in October, but at least we get to win some games during the regular season. We've got some talent on the roster, albeit the core is certainly aging, but they have a good
kind of stale.
staff.
The core is kind of boring now.
For sure. Yeah. Yep, it's stagnant, but yeah, they should be good. Again, they've had some recent playoff success. Very frustrated, but I don't think you could say they're miserable.
I think the fan base, the read I have on it is they're frustrated and fatigued.
Yes.
I forgot my dog was here behind. He just took a deep breath. Can you hear this whole time? He's fatigued by the Phillies also. So I think my read on it is, it's not a miserable fan base, but it's certainly not a happy fan base. They're not like, yeah, we love this team, let's go, like we're so excited about the season. It's like,
I think last year you had some of that, and like the past couple of years you did, but yeah, now I think that all those feelings, those warm and fuzzy feelings that we've had over the past couple of years are definitely gone now, and people are mad, people are frustrated. The team is going to be worse this year than they were last year.
A bad season could push the Phillies fan base too miserable.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, definitely. Yep.
Okay, so it's close. All right. The last baseball team. Let's talk about this. God. This is the best. This is the most fun conversation.
God!
Obviously, we know you're upset. We know that the idea that the Yankees fan base is miserable to you
No, they're not.
It's just pathetic. Like there's no way that you think that that's possible. And I'm not saying they are miserable. I'm just saying that when you have this built-in expectation that the Yankee fans have,
here we go.
And your expectation is that we're the Yankees, we're supposed to get all the best players, and we just lost to the Blue Jays, and then we just brought back the same team. We're okay. We're content being 94-95 win team. We can't compete with the Dodgers. We're probably not going to get past the Blue Jays or the Red Sox. That's what Yankee fans feel. Right. The Red Sox are in the conversation for the AL East. But anyway, without getting too much into that, the point is that because of the expectation of the Yankee fan and because of this whole elitist perspective that we're the Yankees, we're the Bronx Bombers, we're supposed to win World Series. We haven't won a World Series since 2009, which is a long time for Yankee fans. So they are pretty miserable. They are very frustrated. Way more frustrated than I think Phillies fans are. Not rightfully so, but they are. The expectation of the Phillies fan isn't to win a World Series every year. The expectation of the Yankee fans is to win a World Series every year, and they haven't achieved that. Well, I agree. We know that. Yes, their expectations are unrealistic and unfair.
Their expectations are to win a World Series every year.
Yes. And they haven't since 2009.
Oh my God! They just have no self-awareness, man.
the fan base views what the Yankees are doing as failing every single year since 2009. That's 16, 17 years of 16 years of failure. So they're
failure.
very upset.
Yeah. There
They're very
are
upset.
28 teams and fan bases in the MLB who would trade places with the Yankees in a heartbeat. So I don't feel bad for you. Again, another fan base where you can't be the most miserable, and then when you win, the wild card round, puff out your chest and dance in the streets. Like you can't do both.
I don't think they were doing that though. I don't think Yankees were
They
dancing in the
certainly,
streets.
I mean, they certainly puff their chest out though. They certainly, chant, "We want Houston." When was that? That was 2022. Remember who did they beat in the? Yeah, "We want Houston," and then they got swept by Houston. Yeah, it's the fan base that I have. It's the fan base that I have the least amount of respect for.
That's an understatement. You detest the Yankee fan.
Yes,
detest them.
Yes, only as baseball fans.
No,
I have a lot of friends that are Yankees fans. I like them as people.
Barely.
No.
If I was a Yankee fan, we'd probably be closer friends.
Yeah. You're probably right.
Yankee fans are really miserable, though. I understand your point. I agree with you. I'm not miserable. You know that. I appreciate the Yankees. I don't feel. I am extremely happy about everything the Yankees do as a franchise. I love Brian Cashman. I love the way they're run. I love Hal Steinbrenner. I appreciate it all. And Yankee fans hate that I say that, and they just get so mad at me. So mad at me. When we do our Yankee season preview with me and Greg will just roll his eyes at me. And I'm happy that they brought back the same roster. How could you be happy? They lost. They weren't good enough to beat the Blue Jays. Now they're going to be better. Like, how can you be okay being the second best team in the division? You're just okay with that? You're just okay winning 94 games? Yeah, miserable fan base.
You're okay winning the division every year, huh?
Miserable people.
Apparently, my gosh, unbelievable, man.
So you know where I'm going on my MLB ranking now? My three between the three.
Yeah,
Mets most miserable, Yankees second most, Phillies third most. I'm a New York homer. And negative.
I mean, I'm gonna take your word for it. If it were me, I would swap the Yankees and the Phillies, but you seem pretty convinced. You talk to more Yankees fans about the Yankees than I do. So
if we're doing it based on what reasonably the fan bases should be, the Yankees are obviously should be the least miserable. They should be extremely ecstatic, the fan base.
Yes. But they're not.
You should be very happy, but they're not. They're miserable. If they don't want to World Series, they're miserable.
Do they know that there's a guy that's going to play for them this year named Garrett Cole who didn't play for them last year? Does anyone know that?
They don't view that as a improvement.
Okay. They don't view that as an improvement? Okay.
No.
Okay. All right. It's a top 5 pitcher. Just, yeah.
What did you say his name was?
Garrett Cole?
A lot of people say Garrett.
Well,
with an A.
Then those people are dumb. I mean, I don't know what to say.
I don't know if they're dumb. I think they're just not really paying attention. I know it's an E. It's clearly an E. For a second, I thought you said Garrett, but you definitely said Garrett.
No.
Yeah. You're good with names. You are very good with names.
Yeah.
You're not very good with knowing. You can't tell me a lot about the guys' names, but you could pronounce them.
No,
You're very good at names.
I could tell you a lot. Thank you.
No, you are very good at pronouncing
names. It's one of my
names,
strengths.
And correcting me, because I'm not very good at it.
Well, yeah, you struggle mightily.
Mightily.
Yes.
Yeah, I could say mightily, though. Okay.
Good anyway,
NHL.
All right.
I was contemplating not even including the Devils in this. Because one thing was it's New Jersey. It's not really New York at all. It's kind of the New York market, but I don't even I know one Devils fan. That's it. Maybe two. But I know in your area, you're closer to, some Devils fans. I know.
Yeah.
Your sister-in-law is a Devils fan. So by proxy, your brother's now become a Devils fan. Let's include the Devils. Let's start with the Devils.
Yeah, sure,
actually.
sure.
Tell me what you think.
I think that the sense I get from Devils fans is that they're disappointed, probably not miserable. They're very happy about Jack Hughes scoring the
I was
golden
going to
goal
say
in the Olympics.
that probably improved morale, even though it did nothing for the Devils specifically.
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
I actually, by the way, can I stop you for a second? Because
Sure.
You mentioned Jack Hughes, and I think it's interesting. If this was a Philadelphia team or a New York City team, like if this was like the Rangers or the Flyers, or if this was like the Eagles, the Yankees, like you realize like the fan base would be more miserable. This guy, Jack Hughes, has missed almost the entire season. He cut his finger like cutting steak with Frank the Tank early in the year, and he's missed a bunch of games because of that. And now he gets healthy and is this amazing, scores the goal, like the gold medal winning goal in the Olympics. I feel like most fan bases would make them more miserable. But Devils fans are probably like, yeah, our player, everyone got to see him, yay. That's my take.
Yeah, well, I don't think that most fan bases would act that way. I think most
New York
fan
and Philly
bases would
fan
act the
bases.
way. Yeah, New York and Philadelphia fan bases would be angry. Yes,
That's what I'm talking about. Not most sports fan bases in general.
Yeah.
Just in our conversation.
Yeah, they would not be proud. I mean, look at what the fans did with Embiid last year. Embiid won the gold medal, and he was really good, especially in that semifinal game against Serbia. Yeah. And he was great in that game.
I wasn't disagreeing with that. I was saying the difference is because the guy wasn't healthy going in, played the Olympics, came back and wasn't ready to play. So that's more of an extreme example where obviously your fans are going to rip him because like, dude, you were all of a sudden healthy for the Olympics, but you're never healthy for us.
Right. But it's
kind of what happened to Jack
the
Hughes.
same.
It's similar.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they've had some good seasons as of late, right? Over the past couple of years.
They do like every other year.
Weren't they like the 2 seed a couple years ago when they played the Rangers and did they beat the Rangers in the playoffs?
They beat the Rangers in the playoffs. Yeah, they beat them. They beat them in the series. Yeah, in like 6 games or 7 games. Right. 7 games. Yeah. But since then they've taken a step back. They have all this young talent, and they've taken a step back. Their goaltending's been terrible. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't know enough Devils fans. I just feel like they're just okay being, who they are. I just don't think it's like we're miserable where, Plus historically they've had a crazy amount of success.
Without a doubt, yeah. Several cups in our lifetime.
Yeah, they had a dynasty run. They had one of the best goalies, if not the best goalie of all time, Brodeur. Mm-hmm. They had Scott Stevens. They had Scott Niedermayer. They had guys like Patrick Elliott. They've had
Kovalchuk.
A lot of. They had Kovalchuk for a while. They've had a lot of really good players, and they've had a lot of success. Recent success, not as much, but even like the current outlook, I think it's like if they can get themselves a goalie and stay healthy, they're actually not bad going forward. They have pieces, so.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think that. And the Islanders, I know one Islanders fan. Yeah, I know 2 Islanders fans, but I don't. I don't know.
Is it the same one that I know?
Is it the same one that you know? You know an Islanders? We know this. We know someone who's an Islanders fan.
Oh yeah, biggest Islanders fan on the planet.
Oh, I was not thinking about him. Well, I don't talk to him. But that's interesting. I wonder how he feels about the Islanders. Yeah.
Yeah, he is a hardcore Islanders fan, man.
I forgot about that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't really know him anymore, so I don't count that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't have a feel for the Islanders. I mean, I don't see anything on social media. I don't see anything. I don't come across anything about the Islanders. They have a great young phenom in Schaefer. He's awesome. He's a rookie. He's one of the best young players in the league. I have no feel for the Islanders fan base. I'm going to assume that they're historically been very bad. They've had very little success over the last 20 plus years. I'm going to assume they're slightly more miserable than the Devils fan base, but I don't know.
I think that's a pretty safe assumption. I mean, they're still like not terrible this year, right? Like they're going
to make the playoffs.
Yeah, they're going to make the playoffs, so that's fun. That's fine. So yeah, but yeah, I think that's a fair spot to put them.
Who's all right, Flyers? The Flyers fan base must be pretty
Definitely the
miserable.
most miserable. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, they are like the New York Jets of the NHL. Just
Not quite
per
that bad.
well, perpetual rebuild. Not really any like talent to be excited over moving forward. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of nice young players, but
They had a little run with like Peter Laviolette. Like that was a long time ago now.
yeah, but that,
But
that was like 2010, man.
yeah,
That was when the Jets last made the playoffs.
yeah, that was a
So
long time ago. It was a
yeah,
little.
they just haven't.
It was. I think it was like into 2012 range. But anyway, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, they just have
It's been a
not
long
been
time.
relevant. They've been rebuilding for 15 years now. Just bad. Just like haven't been worth getting excited about or watching
Nope.
in a really long time. So, and like again, no prospects, no like who knows if the front office is any good? Doesn't seem like it. They keep going
Not.
through
Yep.
many general managers, many coaches. They're just like the Jets. They
Yeah.
can't get their head above water.
It's
And
not as pathetic as it's not as disastrous as the Jets, but in terms of like just comparing, like it is the NHL's version, at least for this conference, for the New York and Philly teams of the Jets. I agree.
for sure,
They don't have anything that's really exciting about this current roster. They've gone through many different coaches. That hasn't changed anything. They've just been bad for a long time, and there's nothing
yeah.
to grab onto and be excited about. There's nothing about the front office that's excited. There's nothing there. And I think that
Last championship, 1975.
so they hit all the criteria: historic, current, recent, outlook.
Yep.
Miserable
Philadelphia.
fan base. I agree.
Yeah.
The most miserable fan base in out of these NHL teams. It maybe in all the NHL.
Maybe.
So that's bad. I'm sorry, man.
Thank you.
At least for these teams, at least you have the NBA and the NFL going on most of the season
Yeah.
to lessen that blow.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Rangers representing with my shirt.
There you go.
The Rangers fan base, I don't think is miserable. I think the Rangers fan base is very frustrated, very similarly to what you said about the Sixers and what you said about the Phillies. The Rangers have had two different championship level rosters that went on runs. They went to the finals twice, losing both times. They've been to the conference finals a bunch of times. They've had over the last 15 years a lot of regular season success. They've actually probably over the last 15 years, I'd imagine, are top 5 or 6 in the NHL in playoff rounds won or playoff games won. They've gone on deep playoff runs. They've had historically amazing, like incredibly just amazing franchise goalies going from Lundqvist to Shesterkin is kind of crazy. But they've fallen short. They haven't won a Stanley Cup since 1994. And now they're in another rebuild. They've sent a letter to the fan base saying that we're rebuilding. They just traded Panair, and they're trading. The deadline's coming up. They're trading a bunch of their players away, and they're frustrated. The fan base is very frustrated. It's like two chances, two championship level rosters, two like 3, 4, 5-year window runs at the Stanley Cup. And a couple finals appearances, but no championship to show for it. So they're frustrated. I wouldn't label them as miserable because I think overall they've had a lot of regular season success and playoff success, but they're very close to if this rebuild is not like a quick rebuild, like if it's an extended rebuild, they will then be miserable. One thing I think that's noteworthy about the Rangers is they won the Stanley Cup in 1994. And I've said this growing up. I used to go to me and my dad used to get like 10 game packages. We'd go to 10 games a year. And then in my young adulthood, we'd still do that together. And the one thing I always criticize, I brought this up to you on this podcast before, is this stupid chant that about this guy from
Oh no.
the 1960s or 70s, whatever, Dennis Potvin on the Islanders. They just chant Potvin sucks, and like they just still do it, and it's just so dumb. It's just like what, guys? Come on, you really hate this guy so much? Like, get over it. Most of you guys are saying that he sucks. Don't you guys were born 30 years after he played?
So
Can we stop
what's
with
the
this
story
tradition?
behind it? Refresh me.
There was this
What is it?
Dennis Potvin, who was a player on the Islanders, was a great player on the Islanders, and Rangers fans hated him, so they just started chanting
Just because he
Potvin
was
sucks.
good?
Yeah, and then I don't know, there might be a little bit more backstory where he would injured a player, but and then the point is, who cares? It's 60 years later. Knowing like who cares what this backstory was?
Wow.
So someone
is New
whistles,
York, man. I mean,
there's a fan that that whistles, and then everybody just chants like Potvin sucks. And so I think that's pathetic. They also do something else that's really pathetic.
Okay.
In 1994 they won the Stanley Cup, led by Mark Messier, Brian Leetch. They broke a curse. They broke a stretch of they hadn't before that. It was 19. They hadn't won since 1940. So
okay,
what is that? 54 years. And then obviously, so now 1994 is how long ago? Like 30 years ago, about, right?
32 years, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So they haven't won in about 80, over 80 years. Oh, like 90 years, let's call it. They've won once. I'm sorry, they won once in 90 years.
Yeah.
The amount of Rangers fans that just still, you go to a game, you watch, like they just can't stop talking about 1994. The Mark Messier jerseys, the Brian Leetch jerseys. It's pathetic.
Really?
Like they're just obsessed with 1994. I'm like, I'm at a game and it's 2025, 2026. I'm like, why are we still talking about this one team from 30 years ago?
God.
Like,
Oh my
guys,
God.
So I think that makes me kind of think that they are kind of miserable. Like, just that they just hang on to this 1 year, this one team, because they just won one time in 90 years. And they can't even these years when the Rangers were really good, they were going to the deep playoff runs, they were in the Stanley Cup Finals, and everyone's wearing like a Mark Messier jersey. Like, how about you wear a Henrik Lundqvist jersey? Why are you hanging on to this 1994 thing? And like they're like, oh, bring in Mark Messier to be the coach. It's like, guys, it's enough with this 1994 thing. So that part, I think it's kind of pathetic. It does make me think that they're a little bit miserable. But I think it's more. I don't think that's miserable. I think that's just more like, I don't know what it is. It's more delusional. Like, let's just hang on to this 1 year forever. Like, let's move on. It's been a long time.
Interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I think your take on it is very funny. It's a very Andrew way of looking at it.
Of course it is.
But I don't know. So there's still a lot of people. I would say if that's the one that they won, then I understand it. Now, being that I root for Philadelphia, who's a bunch of losers, like you could if you go to a Sixers game, you're going to see all 2001 like Allen Iverson. People are going to talk the same way about Allen Iverson, and the difference is like, yeah, you think it's pretty pathetic, but at least they won. Like, at least they actually won the championship. I mean, the Sixers lost in 5 games. They got their asses kicked by the Lakers. And like, same thing. Again, it's a little different now because the Eagles have won since then. Yeah. But like you would always see like Donovan McNabb jerseys around the stadium. You still do all the time.
I think, yeah. I don't think it's specific to New York or Rangers fans. I just think it's just pathetic when, like, for instance, do you think that would be a good example? Do you think that let's see, do you think Rams fan you think the Rams have a lot of everyone just Kurt Warner, Marshall Faulk, or do you think they're probably like, excited about like Stafford and that the recent team that won?
I think they're excited about the recent team that won.
And like, you probably have like Kurt Warner's probably barely talked about by Rams fans at this point.
Right. Yeah.
I just think
again,
that
they've won. They've won since then. So
Yeah, but yeah, no, but that's the point. Is that I think is that like, no, I get. I think that's part of the misery is that
oh, dude,
because you never
you
won.
go to a Phillies game, and it is like half of it is
Chase
2008
Utley,
guys. Oh yeah, Eltley, Rollins, Howard,
really?
Hamels, Lidge. Oh my God, yeah.
I don't think the
Carlos
Yankees.
Ruiz, like
I don't think the
that
Yankees. I
whole
don't think the Yankees.
they love that 2008 team, man. They love it, love it, love
You
it.
go to a Yankees game and then you talk to Yankees fans. Yes, people, you have Jeter and people talk about Jeter but I don't think that I think most to actually compliment Yankee fans, I think they're more focused on the now and the team now. They're more miserable about the team not winning now, but they're more focused on now as opposed to holding on to 2009. Hideki Matsui, Johnny Damon. Like I don't think that's a thing.
Okay. Well, this is New
Let's rate.
York, so even if they were the defending champions, that that's even if they won the year before, it's it's about championships.
Ranking the NHL fan bases most miserable. Flyers #1 by far. I guess I'm gonna say, what do you think? Devils, Islanders, Rangers, or Islanders, Devils, Rangers. I don't know. However you want to do it.
No, I think Rangers, Islanders, Devils, or
Okay.
no, Rangers, Devils, Islanders.
Okay, I'm fine with that. I think those.
Right.
I think the 3 New York teams are. I think it's close. I think that, but there's a clear most miserable there. Okay.
Yep.
So we're going through all the sports. Let's put together a top 5 through crossing the sports, crossing the leagues. We're going to agree at number 1, right? Or do you want to start from number 5? What do you want to do?
No, let's start from number 1.
It's clearly
obviously the Jets. Like no question.
No question. And then are the Flyers number 2?
I think the Flyers are number 2. I think the Flyers are the closest thing to the Jets on this list.
I'm with you.
Number 3, I'd say it's either the Mets or the Nets. It's not the Knicks. Don't say.
I think it's the Knicks.
No way. No way.
I think it's the Knicks.
No. I think I would say the Nets just because they are closer to this Jets Flyers pattern than any other team on the list.
I don't respect them as a fan base enough. I don't consider the fan. I don't think the fan base does the size of a fan base impact this at all to you?
I don't think so.
They have a small fan base. I mean, this is not. I'm not making fun of Nets.
But
there's nothing wrong with being a part of a small fan base. I know some fans get upset about that. Like, no, we have a big fan base. Like, I don't know why you take it so personally, but they do have a small fan base.
We didn't mention that in the criteria to start, I'm not going to consider that. Okay, so I'm not going to consider that now.
Look at you.
I'm going to say
so
Nets,
objective.
And then I'm going to say Mets. Yeah, and then I would probably say 76ers after that. So I would go Jets, Flyers, Nets, Mets, 76ers.
I am going to go back to me being emphatic about this Knicks thing. The Knicks fan base is miserable. I'm not going to get back into it again. But they're just miserable. They're finally good, and they just can't see the positives. They just see the negatives. They don't want to focus on the positives. They want to focus on that they lost the Pistons by 30 points. There's no chance they beat the Pistons in the playoff series. Cat's soft because we should, if we can go back, we won't do the trade. Let's keep Randall, even though we hated him, and he was miserable with the Knicks. We were miserable with him. They haven't won since the 70s, and it's a miserable fan base. So I'm going to put the Knicks number 3. I'm going to put the Mets number 4. I think the Mets fan base, we've gone through it. The Mets fan base is actually legitimately miserable, and the Yankees.
You're
the Yankees fan base wrongfully is extremely miserable. Their expectations, they just fail to meet their expectations every year, and the organization that they root for, they believe doesn't have the same goals as the fans do. which that makes the fan base very upset. So I'm going to put Yankees at number 5.
All right.
So who's more miserable, New York or Philly?
Oh, it's got to be New York, but they have more teams to be miserable about. So yeah, overall it's New York.
I agree, and I think that's counter to how people depict Philadelphia sports fans.
You're right.
Although I guess people depict them as more angry than miserable.
We just proved it.
Well, Philadelphia fans are still more angry, right?
Well, it wasn't the angry rankings, was it?
Let's change it.
Yeah.
All right. That's it. Everyone, please comment below. Tell us what you think. Tell us if you think one of us is incredibly wrong, if we think one of us is right, if we are off base on something, maybe we're completely off base on the Islanders or the Devils. Maybe we're off base on the Sixers.
Maybe.
Eagles?
I don't think so.
Maybe the Eagles are number 1.
Yeah. Yep. Patulo's gone, so
there you go.
Fans are good now.
Everyone, thanks for tuning in. Please give us a like. Please subscribe. We'll see you next time.
Philly pride and Sistad soul. Andrew rapping and wild bulls. Together they talk sports and dreams. Right behind the scenes. It seems. Fanbase and why hear the call. Who's the greatest? Who will fall with this rivalry? Now it's clear to join the chat. It's time to hear sports and culture all in